Stop being a slop agent. You've been counting calories, you've been hitting the treadmill for weeks, yet you're still fat. Why is that? It's because you're running the old script. Your monkey brain is being hijacked by industrial slop, and the experts are laughing at you. So today, let's reprogram. Here are the 7 levels of fat loss from the slop that you must avoid to the god tier protocols of the optimized. Level 1. The slop traps. These aren't even hacks, they're more like glitches. They just feed into your monkey brain's desire for a shortcut. So things that fall within this category are things like your detox teas, which are basically just laxatives in the best case scenario, and worst case scenario, they're just destroying your gut. Other things that fall within this category are things like your lemon water in the morning, your weird chia seed protocols, like you're just getting in extra calories in the morning that isn't protein, that is just a bunch of carbs. You got your cheat days, which is just like an injection of industrial slop that's setting your progress back. If you're not 10% body fat, you don't need cheat days. You got your waist trainers trying to give you hope. Look, it's not that hard to actually go do some cardio to lose weight. Waist trainers do not do anything. You have your fat burning supplements, which burn like 50 calories throughout the day. It's like, oh my God, let me do some jumping jacks. So I'm also burning 50 calories. There's no reason to take these. You're just stressing your heart. And then lastly, within this category, you got like the classic 40-year-old women diet hacks, like, replacing your meals with juice. You got the juice diet, the bone broth soup diet, or whatever. All of these are fads. None of them work. Let's go to level 2, which are the basics. So these are your reliable classics. Everybody knows about them, nobody does them, but do they work? They goddamn work. You got your standard calorie deficit. If you eat less food, you are going to burn off the fat. It's as simple as that. You got your 10,000 steps per day, or just having an active lifestyle, having a more active job. It definitely helps. And lastly, within this category, you got things like your basic hydration, making sure that your body is just stable. You have water, you have a deficit, you're getting some activity. These are the absolute basics. Next, we have level 3, the situational hacks. So these are the hacks that aren't for everyone, but at least one of them is going to work for you. They are more situational. It's going to work for some people. And once you find the one that works best for you, you are going to see transformative results. Things that fall within this category is something like volume eating, which tricks your monkey brain into thinking that you're full on lower calories. So this is eating more vegetables, and there's a bunch of other really cool hacky diet foods that you can have, like shirataki noodles and like very lean meats. You can make like a huge chicken noodle bowl for like 300-400 calories. You have intermittent fasting, which is just not eating for a certain period of time or skipping breakfast. This is something that I personally love to do, and out of all of these situational ones, this is the one that works best for me. I don't really want to eat too much in the morning, so why should I gorge myself? I'll just save the calories for later. It's much better. Then you got something like the ketogenic diet. For some people, cutting out carbs, makes it easier to not eat junk food. They feel better satiety. Try this one out. And lastly, we got another spin on the keto diet, which isn't really keto, but we have low carbs or something like paleo. This essentially forces you to not eat junk food at the end of the day. So try that out, but let's move on to level 4, the skill gap hacks. This is where you finally start becoming the optimized. You stop all the guesswork and you actually start crunching the numbers. You actually start counting. Things that fall into this category are calorie tracking. So using apps like, MyFitnessPal, like Chronometer. If you use that to track your calories, you learn the ins and outs of macros and micronutrients. It's a complete game changer and one of the best things that you can implement into your fat loss journey. Personally, this is what made the biggest difference in my weight loss journey, so I definitely recommend you give it a try. Now, what goes along with this is also learning how to weigh food and the different ways that food is measured, specifically in grams. I feel like using cups and all of that bullshit, it's not really the most efficient way of actually measuring. Get a scale, measure in grams, and measure food accurately. If you're measuring raw chicken, then write it down as raw, because the calories of cooked chicken versus raw chicken are vastly different. Now, once again, an offshoot of this would be your micro and macronutrients, because learning about calories is like nutrition level 1. It's like, oh, I have to eat less calories. But what should be the composition of those calories? Well, you have your carbs, you have your proteins, you have your fats, you have your fiber. Okay, we have the macronutrients. You should probably eat a high amount of protein. Keep your fats also quite high because of hormones, unless you're injecting your own hormones. And then you also have your carbs, which are nice and they give you glycogen, they give you energy for working out. But the offshoot of this again is also learning about micronutrients. It's like, oh, really, if I'm deficient in iron, my hormones are going to be out the gutter. If I don't have enough zinc, my test is going to be in the Whoa, I didn't know this. So learn about this type of stuff. This is really where we switch from being slop agents to actually becoming the optimized. Once you start tracking, you start becoming optimized. And another thing that would go within this category is meal prepping. If you can prep your own meals, you know, if mommy isn't cooking for you anymore, if you're not ordering restaurant food all the time, then you are becoming closer to the optimized. Leave behind the slop agent lifestyle. If you're eating takeaway food all the time, you're not going to be healthy. If other people are cooking for you, you're not going to be healthy. The average person is overweight. So if you're going to eat like the average person, then guess what? You're going to be overweight. Now moving into level 5. Here we have the variants. So things that fall within the level 5 category are essentially things that take the basics and tweak them to your own body and your own goals. We already left behind the slop agent lifestyle a long time ago. You are now becoming smarter, you're gaining knowledge in nutrition. So you now have the ability to tweak these basics. In this category, we would have things like carb cycling, knowing where to put carbs within your diet for maximum satiety, power output, muscle growth, and weight loss. Because yes, if you eat all of your carbs first thing in the morning, then it might be a little bit harder to not get hungry later in the day. If you're eating all of your carbs at the end of the day, then you might not be able to fuel your workout if it's in the morning. And now another thing that would fall within this category is your different types of cardio for your specific chosen goal. If you are trying to go for your maximum health output, if you're trying to better your heart health, your overall cardiovascular health, then you might find variants of high intensity interval training better as compared to lower intensity steady state cardio, which would be better for your fat loss. Now, the idea here is that once you're at level 5, you know how to interchange these. You know where to place them within your program. You know how to cycle your nutrients. You know how to cycle your carbs. You know where to put your protein. This is what level 5 looks like. Are we getting more advanced? Yes, we are. We are in the realm of the optimized. But now that we've crossed that bridge, let's go to level 6. These are the mythical hacks. So these hacks are special because they're not necessarily about food, about dieting, or about the gym itself, but they are fundamentals in making everything else run. If you don't have these hacks down, if you don't have these habits going for you, nothing else is going to work. And the first one being sleep. Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Not 7 to 9 hours in bed, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, which is more like 8 to 11 hours in bed because your sleep efficiency isn't 100%. I hope you knew this. People's sleep efficiency is somewhere between 80 to 95%. You don't sleep through the entire night. Now, what goes along with this is your circadian rhythm alignment. Recent studies show that actually going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day may be even more important than the amount of sleep that you get in like total hours. So if you're going to sleep and waking up at the same time Monday through Friday, but then on the weekends you're sleeping in, you are destroying your health. And the last thing that goes within this category is the elimination of alcohol. Not only are you destroying your sleep, but you're getting in so many extra calories that's going to make weight loss tragic for you. You're getting in your calories, but then you're also messing up your liver, you're messing up your organs, which then you can't actually process and break down food properly, which then causes even more fat growth. It also messes up your sleep, which we just talked about how important that is. So it's an overall no-go. There are better alternatives. There are things that feel similar. Do your own research, but there are better alternatives to things that feel like alcohol, that do not damage your body nearly as much, and that have 0 calories. Alcohol is not a drink of the optimized. It is definitely a slop agent beverage, and the slop overlords want you to consume this. And lastly, level 7. These are the god tier hacks. These are the strategies that make it practically impossible for you to not lose weight. This is the new script. Before this video, you were following the old script. This is what the new script is. The first thing that falls within this category, and as simple as it may be, it's weight loss drugs. Look, we are in the 21st century. Pharmacology has advanced. If there is something that I can inject in my ass that makes me not hungry for the rest of the day, and every single study shows that it's a metabolic miracle, then why would you not take it? The next thing that falls within this category is you have your ultimate clean diet. High protein, high volume, low calories, single ingredient. You know those Instagram cutting board diets? If you're eating this, you're not gonna get fat. Another thing that goes within this category, as lame as it sounds, I know, it's simply heavy resistance training. This is one of the only ways that you can actually boost your metabolism permanently for the rest of your life. If you build muscle mass, you can actually over time eat more and more food and you will burn more calories by doing absolutely nothing. Plus your glucose won't spike as high, your insulin resistance is going to be better. There's so many health benefits to simply having more muscle. And now lastly, this is a weird one, but hear me out. Identity shifting. You need to rewire your own subconscious mind to make you believe that you are not trying to lose weight, but you are the type of person who loses weight easily. Now, how do you do this? Yeah, you have to go through affirmations. You actually have to put in some work and then have undeniable proof that you are the type of person who eats clean. And the more you do this, the more your identity shifts into someone who is a healthier person or an athlete. And then once you see yourself that way, you don't really crave junk food. It doesn't ever pop into my mind that, oh, maybe I should go eat at McDonald's. Why? Because I'm not the type of person that does that. And once you become not the type of person that does that, once you start following the new script, once you see yourself as the optimized and not another slob agent, you don't need to use any more willpower to make the right choices. And now the last thing I want you to remember is that the world wants to keep you a slob agent. It wants you hungry, it wants you confused, it wants to keep you scrolling forever. But now that you have these 7 levels, you must take action. Are you gonna keep on running this old script forever? Or are you finally ready to initiate the cleanse and become the optimized? If you are, subscribe to the channel and help me get out of crippling debt.